Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is Jennifer Scrapping Cane. Today I'm sharing 11 by 8.5 layout, and it does have two photos on it of my son eating a chocolate shark. This was actually on his birthday. This was for Valentine's Day, and my boss had given him a chocolate shark, unknowing that it was actually his birthday, but also his favorite ocean animal was a shark, and she was really excited once she figured that out. So here I have some shark papers. This is from Reminisce. This paper is like magazine thin. Like it is super thin paper. I was going to use it as the background, but then when I realized how thin it was, it's even like glossy. It came from my stash. I'm not sure how old it is. This paper here is an older Echo Park paper, and basically I brought it in for the orange. And then this paper collection here is from Carta. It's called Pirates, and I have quite a few sheets of this paper, but I'm gonna fussy cut out that map there. And then I love the wood grain paper. It looks like planks, so I really like that. It already is like distressed and everything, so it's going to be really easy to use. This paper here, I couldn't decide if I liked the stripe or the other side of it. I actually end up matting the photo in the stripe paper. I cut the little photo in a circle, and that was just to make a little bit more room on the layout. And I cut it in like, it almost looks like a torn edge. I've used it before, and I cut the photo in that, and also the photo mat in one of those metal die cuts. So here I'm matting the main photo on orange. I did just stress the edges with brown ink. I fussy cut the matte paper already, and then I'm going to layer up the wood grain paper and add in just a little bit of that shark paper. And basically I'm adding that in because it adds the blue that's the same as his shirt. And it also adds a little bit more shark element to the layout since everything else is kind of pirate related. And there's no rhyme or reason for the pirate stuff, just for the fact that, he was taking photos for me because he thought it was funny that he was going to bite the shark's head instead of the shark biting him. So that's the reason we did the photos. That was his idea. So I always think that's cute. If he comes up with an idea to take a photo, I'm like, let's go for it. I'll take any photo you want me to take because I love photographs. So there, I just used another like little shark paper up there at the top, and I made sure that you could see that one shark up at the top. And then I'm going to add the photo down here, and I am going to put this piece of the wood grain over the top of the photo so it looks like it's a part of the background, like it's encased with the wood grain. And I like the way that that turns out. Up here at the top, I'm going to add another piece of the wood grain paper that I tore. And, oh, actually, I'm going to add that one to the bottom. So there's double layers at the bottom. Up at the top, I am going to add another one. I thought I was going to do that one next, but I guess not. This little photo here, I am going to pop up on some play foam just because that photo mat is pretty thick because Carta papers are very thick. And like I said, that Reminisce paper was not thick enough at all to use as the background. I definitely was not going to use that as the background. And then this map, I want to just tuck in here. I just thought it was cool and I wanted to use it as part of the layout. This ship here, I'm actually going to trade that ship out for a smaller one here in a minute. But for right now, I have it there. I'm kind of deciding if I'm going to cover up the word pirates or not. I decide not to in the end, but for right now, it's sitting there and I'm trying to decide what else to use. And then I see on the sticker sheet, there is another ship to use. I'm going to get some little foam dots here for these little circles. I cut those little circles, the orange circles, out of the same die that I cut out of the little photo. And then there was stickers, little circle stickers on the sticker sheet. So So I'm going to use 3 of those at the bottom, and that just adds another circle element to the layout. There was really no reason for adding those except for design purposes. So I add 3 of those down at the bottom. This one here says ahoy matey. And again, I just thought that was kind of cute. I wanted that blue paper to overlap the map since it was covering up part of the shark. I didn't want to cover up the shark. I wanted the shark on top. And then the little bird at the top, I just thought he was cute, so I added him up there in the corner. It gives a little bit more color over there to the right-hand side. And there will be journaling on this layout, but I will just put it on the back of who gave him the candy and that it was actually on his birthday. And here's the little smaller ship that I end up using instead of that bigger one. Unlike some, it just fits a little bit better here and it doesn't cover up the word pirates. Because originally I was going to cover up the word pirates since it was red. But since there's a little bit of red on the bird, and then the photo mat ended up being the stripe paper, there's red in that too. So I went ahead and just left the little pops of red. And there's an X on the map that is red also. So just the little pops of red, it was okay. I decided to go ahead and keep it. And then up here at the top is where I'm going to add my title. And I'm going to use rub-ons that are very old from my stash. They're from a company called Gen X. I used them on yesterday's layout and they went on perfectly fine. So I'm going to try to use up a lot of what's left of the letters. I have quite a few vowels left, which is unusual, but I don't have a lot of like I don't think I have any T's left, and now I don't have any S's left. I used the last S, but I could probably get a few more words, hopefully in the next couple of days, and get the rest of them used up, or most of them, and I'll be okay with probably just tossing the rest of them. Like I said, they are really old, and I won't have very many letters left that I can actually use. So here, I'm just going to title it Shark Bite, and um, I didn't know what else to really title it, so that's why I just went with Shark Bite. And I like the way that the letters look. They're not like straight in form, they're just kind of a cool font. And I did have to make a letter T. That's how I know it. There's no T's left. It was an F, and I cut it to make it a T. But it looks like a T. And then this one here, I'm cutting, and it's actually a G, but I'm going to turn it into an E. And that's one thing I like about rub-ons is that if you can cut them and piece them back together, you can make it look like anything. There's because you can't tell where you put the lines together. That was one of the reasons I really loved Alpha rub-ons back in the day, and I love that 49 and Market came out with a few of them. I have 3 of the fonts. I believe there's 3 or 4, but hopefully they'll come out with more. But here's a few close-ups. I hope you guys enjoyed today's layout. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for coming by. Bye!